My whole life has been a negotiation, but with Iran, we've been negotiating for a long time. And this time, they mean business. So we are now having really good discussions. They started last night, a little bit, the night before that. And I think they're very good. They want peace. They've agreed they will not have a nuclear weapon, et cetera, et cetera. But we'll see. You have to get it done. But I would say there's a very good chance.
Iran's Revolutionary Guards released a statement this morning saying that the Strait of Hormuz is closed, and they say that 3 container ships were turned back after warnings from the Iranian Navy. Now, that follows President Trump's comments yesterday that Iran had allowed 10 oil tankers, at least some of them Pakistani flags, through the Strait of Hormuz, which he described as a gift to him from the Iranian regime. Now, the background to all of this is that while Iran has been hammered militarily in this conflict, it has played a powerful economic card by effectively controlling which ships can sail through the Strait of Hormuz. That is a narrow choke point through which around 20% of the world's oil must pass. That's around 20 million barrels per day. And that's caused global economic pain and put pressure on President Trump to end the war. At least arguably, that strengthens Iran's hand in any negotiations, though the Iranians have said that they are not negotiating and have dismissed an American ceasefire plan. There's been speculation that to hit back, the US could send in ground troops to seize control of Iran's Karg Island, through which the Iranians export around 90% of their oil.
So Trump is in a fix. Iran has 5 points. Trump has 1 point. What is he saying? He says that, you know what? Unless you people stop producing uranium and enriching it, we are still going to attack you, whether you like it or not. And guess what? Iranians are like, man, you're just joking. Get out of our territories. So what are they talking about? They're saying US should vamoose, basically vamoose, leave the Middle East alone. Get out of our territory, clear all your bases and pack up and leave our neighborhood. We don't want anything to do with the US. Okay, those are in my own words. Okay, so guess what is happening right now? Apart from that, the Iranians are saying that, I want the US to basically pack up all their military gear, satellite, media, and everything. And the other condition, they're saying that every media outlet that has been attacking them should also pack up and leave the Middle East. And they're not going to tolerate anything. Otherwise, they're going to arrest, prosecute, and execute.
2 days ago, Trump said you have 48 hours to open the Strait of Hormuz. And then yesterday, Trump said, I've been in secret negotiations with the Iranians and they're going great. And as a result, I'm going to wait 5 days to attack their energy infrastructure. When Trump said you have 48 hours or we're going to attack your energy infrastructure, Iran announced it was going to obliterate the GCC's energy infrastructure. So, this could get really ugly really fast if the United States and Israel continue to escalate. What is the saying? Don't burn bridges. I feel like Trump has burnt bridges and now he's like, wait, what? He's like a child. He's like a 3-year-old who doesn't understand there are consequences for your actions. And he tried to play this big game like he's some kind of chess player. And the reality is maybe he was playing whack-a-mole. I don't even think he was playing checkers. I think we're talking really low IQ. And the fact that he botched Greenland, pissed off NATO, refuses to say whether or not he'll support Article 5 in the event it gets called by a NATO ally. He's bullying Spain because Spain refuses to increase its military spending, right? It's just layer after layer. And then he doesn't know how to open a Strait of Hormuz, which is hilarious because he keeps saying it's a very simple thing. It's just not something that I would do. The Europeans need to do it. And he keeps saying this, and then he's like, well, why? You're the one who got it closed. Well, you need to be the one it's your responsibility, jackass. I don't understand. It's such a strange set of behaviors for an adult. You just don't expect this. The things that come out of his mouth. And there's actually a population of people who are like, he's so smart. Dude, have you listened to him speak?
If Trump was listening, what would you say to him?
What I would tell him is take the deal. I would say stop right now and do everything possible to go back to the deal you rejected the day before you started bombing. And what your goal should be is to get as much of the 60% enriched uranium out of the country as possible. If You could also get the 20% enriched uranium out. That would be good too. But you're probably not going to get as good a deal because the supreme leader you were dealing with is gone. And you now have a much tougher, so you might have to accept President Trump a worse deal.
Are we just kicking the can down the road here? Is there not an element where Iran getting nuclear weapons is inevitable in some way?
So we know that there is a long-term problem out there, and sometimes a really good solution is to freeze it for 20 years.
Donald Trump is panicking as Iran is threatening his life. Iran is threatening him in response to Donald Trump saying, if you don't agree to the ceasefire on my terms, we're going to invade the Karg Island. We're sending Marines there. Get ready, Iran. And Iran saying, bring it on. And they're posting memes and AI videos and mocking Donald Trump. For example, they posted this meme right here through their state regime media in Iran. They write, to American soldiers, come closer. And it shows a casket right there by the Strait of Hormuz with an American flag on it. Also, you have Iranian regime media and others in Iran and cartoonists in Iran posting memes like this, mocking Donald Trump for Trump saying that Iran is giving him great gifts and presents and it makes him happy. Take a look at this cartoon right here. Trump, Iran sent me a very valuable gift. And for those listening on audio, it's a photo of Iran giving Donald Trump a gift where an Iranian soldier is kicking Donald Trump in the face.
Donald Trump is losing support for his war in Iran as two Middle Eastern countries are telling him we're out. Now, as you know, Donald Trump's war in Iran has taken a major toll on the Middle East, and he's even admitted himself that he was not expecting Iran to attack Middle Eastern countries. Well, apparently the toll is getting too much for some to take, as two countries are now telling Donald Trump they're out. Now, first is Qatar, who is telling Donald Trump they are completely disassociating themselves from the war. But then the UAE is also announcing they will not let the United States use their land to attack Iran. This is a major update and a major shift in the war, as Donald Trump seemed to have full support of the countries around Iran, and now he's starting to lose it. Now, it should be noted that some talks are taking place, but it doesn't appear that they're as robust as Donald Trump wants them to be. And a lot of messaging from Iran is saying, we're not going to accept Trump's deal. If he cannot find an off-ramp fast, this thing may escalate or de-escalate into a situation he's not ready for.
In other words, and then the other thing, what they are saying that they need to exclusively own the control of the strait. You know that critical point where people are fighting, Hormuz, they want to claim and own that territory militarily, technologically, and even control the traffic single-handedly. And you know what that strait contains? It contains basically a fifth of the world's fuel. And Chinese depend on that thing like so much. It's about 37% of all Chinese oil comes from the Strait of Hormuz. And without that, kaput, China would be dead. I mean, economically, 37%, that could attain to about 50 what? About 50% of Chinese goods would be reduced. So you wouldn't see the Chinese products that you wear. You wouldn't see these duplicates. Those Chinese clothes we like wearing and the capes and everything. You'd miss them. Even the Chinese movies, you wouldn't be watching them anyway.
Mr. Secretary, are you going to ask G7 for help with the Strait of...
Well, it's in their interest to help. The other countries get far more of their fuel from there than we do. So
what kind of help are you going to ask? Minesweepers, naval help?
Well, those specifics, I'll leave it to the Department of War as to exactly what, but it's in their interest. It's in their national interest. The United States is constantly being asked to help in a war, and we have more than any other country in the world, on a war that's happening in another continent, in Ukraine. But when the U.S. had a need, he didn't get proper positive responses. So right now he's just making the observation that, I think there was a couple of the leaders in Europe who said that this was not Europe's war. Well, Ukraine is not America's war, and yet we've contributed more to that fight than any other country in the world. So it'll be something to examine. The president will have to take into account down the road. It can be open tomorrow if Iran stops threatening global shipping, which is an outrage and a violation of international law for all these countries that care about international law. They should be doing something about it. Well, it's not help for us. Like I said, very little of our energy comes through the Straits of Hormuz. It's the world that has a great interest in that. And so they should step up and deal with it.
Fucking Iran just dismissed a ceasefire proposal that President Trump offered to him, and instead of accepting it to stop this whole bullshit, they did a counter proposal back at him. Now, within the ceasefire proposal, there was allegedly sanctions relief, rollback of Iran's nuclear program, which that is one of his top priorities, and then limits on missiles and reopening the Strait of Hormuz, which pretty much has been fucking up everything in the whole entire world. I mean, just go get some gas and you know what I'm talking about.
And then the other thing is this. They're like, you know what? They don't want America to ever attack them in future, regardless. As in, it should be unconditional. Never attack Iran again. What do you think? These guys are being so... Man, and then apart from that, they also say, please. They never use the word please. They said, we do not want anything to do with wars in the Middle East because they are all caused by the Americans. So, this is what the Iranians are meaning. That, you know, all the Middle East conflicts are caused by the US. And the Iranians need to be given the sovereignty to support, who are these guys, the Houthis and whatever else they support unconditionally. So that's the kind of situation we're facing now.
President Trump often watches this show. He may not admit it, but he often watches this show, as do members of the Senate and the House. I'm curious, before you go, what would your message be to the president and the members of Congress?
The message is that previous U.S. administrations, even the current U.S. administration, have tried almost everything against us. A war, sanctions, snapback, everything. But none of them worked. If you talk with the Iranian people with the language of respect, we respond with the same language. But if they talk to us with the language of force, we would reciprocate with the same language. I think Iranians have proved to be very proud people. We only respond to the language of respect. And this is the way that they can talk to us and they would see the result.
From the outset, President Trump and the Department of War estimated it would take approximately 4 to 6 weeks to achieve this critical mission. 25 days in, the greatest military the world has ever known is ahead of schedule and performing exceptionally. Day by day, the Iranian regime is being crippled, and their ability to threaten the United States and our allies is being significantly weakened. Their ambitions of building a nuclear weapon have also been crushed to an even greater degree than they were in Operation Midnight Hammer in June 2025. That's why you're beginning to see the regime look for an exit ramp. They recognize they are being crushed, their ability to attack American and ally forces.
Trump just dropped 2 shocking posts about Iran. And what he said about NATO is raising serious global concerns this morning, guys. So Trump posted a few hours ago stating NATO nations have been absolutely nothing to help with the lunatic nation, Iran, now militarily decimated of Iran. The USA needs nothing from NATO. But never forget this very important point of time, he said, and he posted on Truth Social. So he will never forget he's saying the USA will never forget what NATO did to him. And then a few moments later, he posted again, and this time it's about Iran. The Iranian negotiators are very different and strange, he said. They are begging us to make a deal, which they should be doing since they have been militarily obliterated, with zero chance of a comeback. And yet, they have publicly stated that they are only looking at our proposal. Wrong, he said. They better get serious soon before it is too late. Because once that happens, there is no turning back. And it won't be pretty, he said. Wow. As of this morning, 2 shocking news from President Trump. So, what do you guys think? Is this just a tough talk from Trump, or are we getting closer to something bigger, like boots on the ground? Well, drop your thoughts in the comment sections below. Let's talk. Let's go.
The Times of Israel is just now reporting that, according to their reports and their influence or whatever, the Trump administration, Trump himself, believes that one strong ground invasion is enough to get Iran to capitulate. Now, we have to look at the fact that the media of other countries are doing a better job than our country. That's a fact. Second of all, this aligns perfectly with the amount of troops that he is moving into the area. Why? Because if this is correct, he believes that one strong attack into Karg Island or the coast, showing force, will be enough for the IRGC and the Iranian what's left of the Iranian government and the Iranian people to capitulate and say, yes, master, come and take us. But that is not the case. That is a massive miscalculation. This will just escalate. This will not make him lean their head down. This will just piss him off even more, because this is not the way. This is a lack of strategy. The only strategy that we as a country are using right now is, let's see how many punch I can throw and see which one I fucking land. That's it. It's like a fighting in the back alley against a person who has never fought in their life. They're just blowing and blowing, throwing blows to see what fucking lands. It's basically what we're doing. No strategy whatsoever. Let's bomb him. Let's see if they fall down. Oh, let's take this guy out. Let's see if they fall down. Oh, let's go ahead and do a ground operation. Let's see if that falls down. And now, like the Times of Israel is saying, one strong ground invasion, and maybe they'll capitulate. This is a massive mistake, but it aligns perfectly with what we are doing with our troop movement right now. I'm Alex, this is my rant, and I'm out.
So strictly for entertainment purposes, so am I commenting. But you know, some of this entertainment is based with facts. Tell me what you think in the comments. What else does Iran have in mind? By the way, I tell you what they have in mind. Like, hey, we are going to continue attacking. We are going to continue attacking whoever else is supporting the US. And the US is also like, we are going to continue attacking. And guess what? The American sniper forces, the Marines, the whatever bomb squad and everything is all pouring in the Middle East while the talks are going on. And by that sign, you know everything is not going to work out as planned. So drop your comments. I will read them and respond. Thanks.
Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.